you're going to build a business, know it.
Hey everybody, welcome to the 2%er Show, the real-time, real talk of the journey in business. All right, so we're live here in New Jersey, USA, ready to talk about a lot of things that are going on in the world. First thing in our minds is this coronavirus. What do you think, Bobbie?
Was it the COVID-19 or 9?
I don't know what they call it, man. I just know, this is what I think. I don't buy everything the media says, so I can't say to myself, I can't believe it yet that this is really what they're saying, where they're making it out to be. Well, my understanding is it's like the flu, or that's what people get, like
It's a strain of flu.
It's a strain of the flu. As a matter of fact, one of my cleaning products from that was made in 2018 has it on there that it fights a human coronavirus. So it's not something new.
Does it?
Yeah, it's not something new. It's not something that all of a sudden just came out into existence, and now the world is under attack from it. Like, there have been coronaviruses before. It's just a new strain now. And then I feel like it's just media hype. What do you think?
I mean, we're going to talk about not only the coronavirus today, but how we think it's going to affect business. That's the major talk about today. But I'm probably going to crack a lot of jokes, and I'm not trying to discredit the coronavirus, to be honest with you. If it's real and it's affecting people and they're getting sick and dying, I'm not discrediting that.
Right.
That's horrible. I would never want that to anyone. But at the same time, there's always two sides to everything.
Yeah.
It could be real. It could be just a strain of a flu, or I don't know what to say. Like, it's just affecting certain types of people with lower immune systems, whatever.
Elderly.
Yeah.
I
don't know if it's real 100%. And I probably won't, but I'll give my opinions. And I actually, to be honest with you, I think I had it. No, I'm serious.
Oh, man. And I'm over here recording it in the basement.
No, listen,
Oh,
hear me out. I didn't tell Jay this, but the other day, my girl, she pointed out, she goes, remember back in December, you were sick? I was literally here at home for about 8 days. I had the flu, but times 100. Mm-hmm. I'm not kidding. I'm not trying to be funny, like you're laughing at me, Jay. But I was here. I remember I called you. I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything.
Yes.
I couldn't even stand.
I remember that.
My lungs were so bad, I couldn't walk from the couch to the kitchen. I was out of breath that bad that I would literally collapse if I tried to walk to the kitchen. Mm-hmm. Like, it got so bad. At the end of the 7-8 days, when I was feeling somewhat better, to go to the doctor, I couldn't even go to the doctor. By the time I got to the doctor, I got pneumonia. It turned into pneumonia in one of my lungs.
But they didn't diagnose it then.
Well, yes. Now, here's my
because
point.
That was the thing.
Here's my point. When I went to the doctor, he said, well, you have all the symptoms of a flu, but it's not only the flu, it might be some kind of virus. Mm. That's exactly what he said. And, I didn't think anything of it. I just think, okay, viruses go everywhere, and doctors can't pinpoint which exact virus it is. Mm-hmm. But he said it. He's like, I can't give you any medication. He only gave me stuff when I got the pneumonia because I could not breathe. I had fevers, right? I couldn't breathe at all. Like, it was bad. I couldn't talk, couldn't walk, sweating. Everything that they say that's part of it, I had, besides the dying from it. But I'm like, wait a minute. He never told me. He said, it seems like it's a flu, but it's definitely a virus because we can't really do anything. You just have to let it pass. The pneumonia, that's really bad. And I thought about it. You know what? That's right. Maybe because I'm younger, it helped me, the medicine, but I was helped to fight a lot of it off, and I could survive. Think about it. An elderly person gets pneumonia. That's horrible.
Yeah, it's done, yeah.
They didn't send me to the hospital. They didn't send me anywhere. They gave me the medication to open up my lung a little bit and stay home. I quarantined myself. I had to stay home. Yeah. So I'm not trying to joke around and said I had the coronavirus, but just to throw it out there, maybe I did have that same virus, flu, whatever, but it wasn't a mainstream thing to cause panic because it wasn't popular at the time.
Until this
But
year.
now, correct, here we go. Here we're going to go for it. Until the powers that be, the government, whatever, decides we need to make this a big thing. Right. That's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, and the more I look at it, sure, I even got sick, I think, sometime in January. And the real reason why I think we get sick up here in New Jersey is because we don't get as much sun around that time. We're not out as much. It's colder. Although it's been a warm winter here, we're not out as much getting the vitamin D we need and things like that. So we're more inside, susceptible to more germs because our immune systems aren't packed with the nutrients that they need. Mm-hmm. So if this thing is like something like the flu, I mean, what they call flu season is almost done. When we come around April, I mean, this thing should be going away because then everyone's immune systems are much stronger. But what we're seeing is, more than just that, we're seeing the total shutdown of the world economy, which is, it's unprecedented. I've never seen this happen over something like this.
No.
I've seen it because of a terrorist attack. I've seen sporting events canceled for a week or so or a few days because of the panic of like 9/11. I've never seen it over something like this.
Now schools are closing.
Schools are closing. Universities. Some of you
Europe,
know,
they can't leave.
Some of you know that we have like one foot in the higher education system where we come and we do teach as well. And our goal is to continue to start businesses and actually be able to give you the true teachings through this podcast, because we can't necessarily do it through the higher education system.
No, because they're all corrupt.
Because, of course, yeah, it's all about control, and that's what I look at it. So when it comes to business and economics, I'm seeing now the supply chain of all goods and services just breaking down. Like, just going to the supermarket, my wife went to the aisle where they had the toilet paper, and there was one last one. There was one roll left, and this guy grabbed it. He already had one in his cart, right? And the lady that was there trying to grab it too started yelling at him because she's freaking out, because he's like, "Why are you hoarding? You have two of them. Why?" And they got an argument. So my wife just kept
two
walking.
butt cheeks.
My wife just like walked past them and couldn't like deal with it. And then, she had a panic attack. She had to go out to the car, relax a little bit, because the stores, were so crowded. People were getting antsy. People were just they're nervous. They're scared.
Okay, because of fear. I get it. But here's a serious question.
Yeah.
What the hell does toilet paper have to do with the coronavirus? How does it affect your ass?
Seriously.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Worst comes to shove, right? Like, you just jump in the shower and wash your ass.
You get, because of diarrhea? When I was sick for 9 days, I didn't get diarrhea. Couldn't move. What does that have to do with it? If I get diarrhea, okay. Oh, wash your ass. I don't get it.
I don't know.
This is, it may be funny. I'm joking around about the toilet paper thing, but it relates to fear.
Right.
So everyone's fear, and they're fighting each other over freaking toilet paper. Go get a leaf, wipe yourself. There you go.
Yeah.
If you want it to be soft, go get an aloe plant.
Yeah.
Take the aloe from the plant, wipe yourself.
Or if this thing gets crazy enough, I mean, your own cash dollars are going to be your toilet paper.
Yeah, when they topple the economy and the dollar crashes, take all the money you have and wipe yourself with it.
That's it.
That'd be the first time I said, I'm so rich, I could wipe myself money, because the dollar means nothing.
Take a $20 bill.
But that's my point. We're going to talk about that. Conspiracy, whatever, or just fear. I know for sure this is causing fear in every country.
Yeah.
Everyone's fearful, and they're going to react.
Right.
And this, on a business perspective, I think is where you shouldn't take a fear approach. You should be taking an offense. Yeah, I said it. Offense. Everyone's playing defense. If it gets worse and you're watching the news, which I don't think you really have to get into that, but if they keep fear, this is doing this, doing that, and then quarantine, stay home, that's all fear.
Yeah.
If you look back at history, anytime there's been recessions, depressions, war, things that cause fear.
Mass hysteria. Yeah.
Yeah. One side was things that happened from it, but the other side, people made money. There was always both. There's not one time where nobody made anything.
Right.
There's always the other side. And I think right now, the entrepreneurs that are listening, the ones who are 2%ers in their mind, it's time for offense.
Right.
Not defense.
98% of the population out there is going to play defense through this
Correct.
time.
And that might be your first response.
Right.
Because of the fear of maybe the coronavirus or the economy shutting down.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not trying to say that's not real. Like, the virus is not real. I don't know. Or I'm not scared that the economy might shut down. No. What I'm saying is, no matter if that happens, there's opportunity.
There's always opportunity.
There's something. And we're going to play. Me and Jay are going to play straight offense, because we know someone's going to make money and they're going to come out of this better than what they were.
Yeah,
because
basically
times get tough, you got to get tougher.
That's right. And to be real with you, this is going to be the roaring 20s for those 2%ers out there, because you're going to play a different game in business than the rest of the masses. The 98% of the population, they're going to be playing defense. They're going to be scared. They're going to lose their jobs. They didn't have a side income. They didn't have a side business. They had nothing else planned. They didn't have a good amount of savings. They lost their retirement money in the stock market. It's going to be bad for most people. But for those 2%ers out there that are ready to play, now's the time. We saw this happen, something like this back in 2008, 2009. We saw it. We saw the machine of the news media, which, again, like Bobbie was saying, you don't really want to listen to it. I would actually tune out most of it, and if you're going to listen to it, it's just to be able to strategize to do the opposite of what they're telling you to do.
Correct. Go the opposite way. And if you're going to watch it a little bit, look for the patterns. Like, I'm not a forecaster. and I'm not an economist, but there's always patterns.
Yeah,
Depressions,
trends.
the 20s, got to see the pattern. There's always patterns.
Mm-hmm.
When there's a war, people are horrible, but people make tons of money because what? It drives the economy. There's jobs being created. There's always a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe there's another pattern again. It's the same pattern. It's just different reason.
Right.
Now it's not like a 9/11, terrorism, shut everything down and use that as a scapegoat.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's maybe this coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
Another pattern, but economically and business-wise, someone's got to make money. The government has to make their money, get out of debt, increase lending, everything. How they do this, there's a way.
The biggest thing that government relies on is taxing you. If you lose your income in a job, that's less money to them.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's other things they're going to have to do. They're going to have to borrow money, probably from the Federal Reserve, to get things going again, or they're going to have the Federal Reserve print money. They're going to come up with their stimulus packages and things like that. So are you ready for those changes? And what I mean by that is, have you already started a business? Are you growing a business? Are you thinking about growing multiple streams of income? The best way I could think of for anybody right now is to start doing something online as soon as possible.
Okay, I'll play devil's advocate. What the hell, Jay? You telling me to start a business or figure out how to make more money when everybody else is worried about losing their job or their job is shutting down and now they're getting paid less?
Right.
How are you going to tell me to go offense and start making more, look to make more?
Because it doesn't really take much money. Actually, for the most part, it's free to get into business online. You know, to sell a product, to sell a service, to create content, and then look for sponsors. Like it doesn't take a lot to get that going. And you gotta understand that it's a world economy now. We're tied to different countries through the internet. Now, unless they shut down the internet, which I highly doubt, because that's the part of the control, system of everything. Unless they shut it all down, I mean, you could sell to somebody in India something. You could sell something to somebody in Europe. You know what I mean? Like, I'm networking with people that I've never met personally, but I'm figuring out what they do for business, what I do for business. When it's like early morning here, it's late night over there, and it's like we kind of still communicate, but different parts of the world, and building those connections to see where the money could be.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. The reason why you're saying you got to start figuring out ways right now more productive and learn how to make more income is because the way the economy is set up.
Yeah.
So, for example, the Federal Reserve, let's say to fix this, because this is what they've done in the past. I mean, things aren't tanking all the way yet, but it's looking that way.
Yeah.
The way to get the economy up is they lower interest rates, right? Which they have already done.
Right.
And our president said he wants that to get done.
Yep.
So they already did that.
Yep.
Now, if they lower interest rates and they can't lower anymore, how else they're going to make some money? They're going to print it.
Right.
Right? Okay, so they print it. If they print it, who are they giving it to?
It's going right into bonds.
They got to give it to the government, right?
Government bonds they're buying out.
Bank needs to give money to the government.
Yep.
But the government can only buy bonds
or financial assets.
Or financial assets, right?
Correct.
Assets.
Yep.
Now, why are they buying these assets? Because that's the only thing they can spend it on. And they have to put money into unemployment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the financial assets, they're trying to make the economy grow again. Interest rates didn't do it, so they got to pump money back in. Because if people are tight, they can't borrow money, so they can't buy anything.
And their income
no
is
lending.
not going up.
Their income is down,
yeah.
So they can't buy much. So if people are not buying much because they can't put it on credit, they don't have any more income, how are they going to do it? They increase unemployment to keep buying things,
right?
But they incentivize you to put money by the economy. They buy financial assets.
Right.
They pump money into companies, things that people who are trying to be productive and they produce things.
Right.
For example, it could be, let's say there's a war. Companies that produce weapons, metals, pharma, all that kind of stuff. Now,
Sure.
I'm not saying for you guys out there to do that. Me and Jay are not going to do that. We're not going to go make guns or invest in gun companies. Maybe not. What we're going to do is the opposite. This is where our guesstimate and what I think me and you should do, because I know there's a way to capitalize and not go with the fear.
Yeah.
If everyone's at home because they're quarantined or they're losing their jobs, they need to find out what's going on. They still have time. They might not have much money,
right?
But they have time. So they're going to be at home watching stuff, listening to things, finding out what the coronavirus is doing.
Trying to stay up to date. Yeah.
Right? What the media is saying. But they don't have much money. What if they can't pay for cable, all that kind of crap?
Yeah,
where are they going to go?
That's right. They're going to go online.
Because they're going to keep the internet up.
Yep.
So our guesstimate is one way. If you want to create some productivity and get something out there, start making content.
Yeah.
Why?
It's about being productive. And what we mean by that is you're creating something and bringing value to the marketplace or the marketplaces, depending on where you're at.
Because the government needs you to.
They need you to, because if you don't, the cycle doesn't continue where there's buying and selling. It's all about buying and selling all day long. Everybody buys and sells, and that's what they consider a transaction. And the more of those that happen, the economy runs.
Very simple.
Yeah.
Right? Buy, sell. Buy, sell. The economy runs that way.
Right.
If, Jay, you have, let's say, something to sell, you're bringing a good into the economy. Government likes that. Helps the economy go. Me, I'm buying what you're selling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting money into you back into the economy.
Yeah, that helps my income.
Correct. Because you're making income, I'm spending income.
Right.
It's just a cycle.
Right.
Buy, sell, buy,
Which
sell.
allows me to go spend as well.
Yeah, because I gave you money to
Right.
buy your stuff. You go out and spend your money. I'm buying something else.
Correct.
Right? And it's a cycle again.
That's all it is.
If we don't keep buying because you can't sell and produce anything, it shuts down.
Correct.
They don't want to shut it down.
So the question is, what can you sell in this time?
There it is.
Economic changes.
Ding, 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 ding. What can we sell?
What can you sell? And that's where the 2%ers are going to come out big from this, because they're going to keep thinking, what can I sell? What can I sell? And then when they find the solution to problems, they're going to be able to charge something for it.
Because
That's how simple it is.
everybody else is scared and in fear, you're not thinking about opportunity.
Yep.
Now, I know the talk today is we're not giving specifics. This is what you should do if the economy shuts down or the coronavirus,
Kills us all.
not because it's all done, but it affects everything where you can't work or you're home, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
We're saying that while everyone else is in fear, they will not be able to see opportunity at all because they're too scared.
Well, we learned that lesson back in 2008, 2009. We saw that. Like,
We effed up.
Yeah, we were in the actual financial industry at the time, and we saw that, the stocks in some of these big companies were just tanking. Some of them did go bankrupt, but we were in such fear that we didn't take advantage of certain things. Like, there were companies that were like listed at $1 a share that were big companies.
Yeah, Citigroup.
And there you go.
They're one of the big ones, and they dropped to like almost nothing, right? To like $1 or so. But what happened? The government stepped in, inflated, printed money, and what did they do? They bailed out the companies that could keep producing. They needed to put the money they created out of thin air by printing and put into financial assets. So while the middle class person is like, what the hell? These companies got bailed out. This is bullshit. And they're all complaining our government sucks. They're a bunch of idiots. Guess what? Those companies were producing things. They're producing stocks. They're producing everything that they're into. They were producing, but they had no money. So the government's like, here, let's give the people, companies, money to keep producing.
Right.
Because people who work there will have to pay taxes. I got to drive this economy to do that. But now, if you're fearful, like we were, we didn't buy Citigroup stock for $1. Now it's at whatever. I don't know. It's more than $1.
Of course. It was at rock bottom prices.
Rock.
And we could have seriously generated some wealth there. So this is the opportunity that lies ahead for everybody. And that's where we want to come to you with some hope.
Yeah, man. This is it. This is good stuff. Yes, it's serious. Yes, people are getting sick. Look, stay healthy.
Italy shut down quarantine.
I love Italy.
Like
Damn it,
law,
I'm pissed off that they're shut down. I feel bad.
Yeah.
But look, wash your hands, cover your eyes. Don't be around someone who's sick, right? Do whatever you can to keep yourself healthy. But while you're healthy, you figure out a way to be productive. Start producing something because it's going to come, in our belief, that they're going to need people to produce. And when this money comes out and the government has to stimulate stuff again, they're going to be giving money to people who are producing. What can you produce? That's your goal. Your goal is to stop thinking fear mode, go on the offensive attack, and figure out, look, there's going to be needs. People have needs, no matter what, economy or not. People are going to need. You got to figure out what's the need. How can you use, even if you have no money, I'm not saying you have to have money, use the internet. How can you use the internet to give that need to someone else? Because they're going to need something. Even if they have no money, they need something. What we're going to do, I'll tell you that right now. Well, our goal is to produce more content. Why? Because we know and we believe people are going to be home or scared and fearful, and they need someplace to go for information, to be uplifted.
Motivation.
Motivation, positivity, but maybe someone to have a plan with, throw ideas around. What can we do?
Yeah.
I don't think people who are wealthy are scared.
No, they've planned
the economy
it. Like
going down.
They're ready to go. Like when there's a saying that when there's blood in the streets, that's when it's time to buy. And I think that was somebody from the Stanley family, J.P. Morgan Stanley family, that said that, because they know that when prices are at rock bottom, it's very simple, folks. And you know what? Bobbie does a great job at like explaining the stock market and all these things, and we're going to create great trainings about that, so you can understand it.
Like our next video on YouTube, it's going to be like a real quick training how I think the stock market works. I'm not going to tell you what to do, how to buy, or this and that, but I just want to get you the idea to take the fear out, and there's opportunity in the water. Yeah,
because when there's blood in the street, meaning when everything's for sale, you buy it. So, for example, before all this went down, right, people that go out and shopping the grocery stores, there's a ton of food, ton of stuff. Things are on sale. That's when people like buying stuff, more of it, because it's on sale. Well, guess what? That's what's going to happen in many industries. And it's going to happen to the point where I think this time is going to be a bigger recession, maybe even a depression, where you can buy hotels for pennies on a dollar. Because they're going to go belly up. They're not going to, I think, weathers a big economic depression. Or, you can get into other industries that you wouldn't have been able to get into. And that's what you got to keep your eyes open about. So our strategy, just to summarize a little bit what we're doing, is be more productive, create more income, not rely on jobs, create more income. How do you create more income? Bring value to the marketplace. People
sell something, figure out how to sell and drive, and know the economy's behind you. The economy needs someone to exchange that transaction. Someone has to sell, someone has to buy. Even if it's a slowdown or depression or recession and people have less income, guess what? If you're in it, because most people that listen to us, are middle class. They might not have much exposable income. They have very little savings. So that's where the fear comes in. I'm scared. What if I lose my job? What if I don't have money? I have to tighten up. I have to shrink everything, hoard everything and not spend everything. That's defense.
Yeah.
That's one part of it. But you cannot win a game on defense.
No.
You have to win the game on offense. So you got our offense strategy, and for you your offense is while you're trying to defend your food, your health, everything, you figure out a way to produce, make something, create something, get on the microphone, get on video, something, use it. How can you sell something? How can you create some kind of content and keep producing? Right. Because you need to be producing. That's the only way the economy is going to come back. And those who produce will win. So the internet, you don't need a lot of money. I'm not saying take all your savings and buy a stock when it drops. It hasn't dropped yet. But what if from history, if they tank this stuff, that's when you should buy, like Jay said, right? When it tanks, and everyone else is trying to pull the money out because they see it tanking. The ones who have some cash, guess what they do? They buy. The rich buy. So guess what? You don't have to be rich. But if you know how to produce something and keep yourself making money during this time, if there's a recession, if there's depression, you could take some of the money to keep yourself alive and survive, but take the rest and pour it into opportunities. You may have to buy a stock, or if you want to, save up for the real estate when they tank those interest rates.
I want to see buildings like being sold for $1. You know what I mean? Like there was times where in the Great Depression that's what was happening. You know what I mean?
That's what I want to do.
If that's gonna go down again, it's not gonna be good for a lot of people. I'm excited for the possibilities.
I'm very excited.
Like the old saying of if you want a strong defense, you need a strong offense is so true.
This is offense time.
It's not time to shrink. While everybody else is shrinking back and they're scared and they're waiting on the government to tell them what to do next.
The government.
You need to start doing and thinking critically and look for the problems, look for the solutions to those problems to sell something for people. That's all it is in business.
Going to help you. I'm sorry. If you don't like the way that sounds, don't listen to us.
Yeah, this ain't your podcast.
This ain't your podcast. I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything. I can't even say the word.
Conspiracy
theorist. But I do know something, and I do know that the government doesn't run off of you. They run off business, and they run off buying and selling, because they can create debt and credit from that.
And income
and
tax.
If you do not produce, whether it's a recession, whether everything's booming, doesn't matter. Coronavirus or not. If you don't produce, you got nothing. The government doesn't care.
Right.
You got all these hands putting their hands out. Government, help us. That's fine. They have a portion of the government to help do that. But if you think that's the only thing that's going to happen, nope.
And those of you that may hear selling as a bad thing, just keep in mind that when you're working a job, you're selling your time for money.